Happy Mother's Day. Hope you had a wonderful day yesterday, all of you mothers out there. We had some gorgeous weather here in Chicagoland. Thank you, Jesus. It is spring. We had a wonderful day. Hope you had a great day with your family. It is time for your Monday market update. Let's take a quick look at our Montgomery County numbers for the last 7 days. We had 137 new listings hit the market, 177 under contract. Yes, we are back to having more under contract than newly listed. Although I'm not really sure. Why am I really happy about that? That just means that we're having more construction in our market and lower inventory, which we don't want. But it is a good sign that our spring market has sprung, that we are well underway, that buyers are out there, they're hungry for new inventory, they're ready to put things under contract. So that is a good sign. We had 76 closed sales, 46 price changes, 3 expireds, and 65 currently on the private network. We had some information come in from the Mortgage Bankers Association this morning that mortgage applications increased 11% from 1 week earlier amid a decline in rates. So rates did come down very slightly last week. We're at about 6.76% for the 30-year fixed rate, according to Freddie Mac, and 5.89 for the 15-year. But according to, compared to last year, we're lower. This time last year, rates were 7.09% for the 30-year fixed and 6.38 for the 15-year. So rates are hovering. They're pretty much unchanged for this year. This is not the lowest that they've been in January and February, where they were a little bit lower. But we're kind of still in this ballpark where we're like 6.5 to 7%. That's just where we're going to live. What I think is happening is that the writing is on the wall that interest rates are not going to plummet this year. Some people were really thinking that we were going to see like numbers in the 5s. And I think the public is getting the picture that that is not going to happen. We are going to live in the 6s. This is where we should be. This is where a healthy market dictates that the rates should be, pretty much always. So it's a good thing that they're steady, but we're not going to see those 3s and 4s. And I know there were a lot of people out there that were hoping that we were going to see those, and now they're getting the picture that that is not going to happen, even though we've been telling them that for a while, but now they actually believe us. So mortgage rates did come down slightly though, due to economic news last week, including a negative reading for the first quarter GDP growth and further signs of constriction in the manufacturing sector. So we've got some economic reports that are leading us to believe that we could be in a recession in the coming months, that we might even already be in one, and that the economic situation is not stellar. Of course, the Feds met last week. They did not do anything to rates. Trump is putting a lot of pressure on Jerome Powell to lower interest rates, which he is not doing, because he doesn't want inflation to tick back up. So, we've got a bit of a balancing act where we want interest rates to come down, but we don't want inflation to go up. And then we've got the tariffs are still a scary thing that is making the market volatile. So we've got a lot of economic uncertainty in our market. But I know that, but for people, the reason they move is not because of economics. People move because their family got bigger, or because they got married, or they got divorced, or whatever it is. And those things are starting to outweigh the economics, which is just a natural occurrence. You would think that, people are going to hold on to their low interest rates as long as they can, and they will put up with difficulty or a difficult living situation for a while. But when it's clear that we are really not going to see 3 and 4% interest rates, they're like, fine, forget it. Just rip the Band-Aid off, part with your low interest rate and move to the house that's going to work for you and your family, because every day that's what you wake up with. You wake up in a home that fits your needs. And if that doesn't happen for long enough, you're not going to give a crap what your interest rate is. You're going to move. So that's what I think we're seeing happening, is where people are kind of getting that idea, and they're getting comfortable with the 6%, and they're understanding that this is just where we're going to live. So this, of course, is the go time for people to get a home under contract before the school year starts, because that is a big driving factor for a lot of people when the school year is. And people who aren't affected by the school year know that other people are. So it's a good time to sell your home, and that means it's time to get the home on the market. We're in mid-May now, which means you've only got, the average cycle is about 30 to 60 days to get a home, to get moved into the home, to get the transaction closed and be moved into your new home. So then if you've got some work that you want to do to the home or something like that, you've really got to get like 90 days before you are settled in your new home. So that means right now, if you want to be ready by mid-August, which is when our kids go back to school now, which is craziness to me, but they go back, first day of school here in District 47 is August 13th is when my son goes back to high school. District 155. That is crazy. So if you want to be in a home before they go back to school, you've got to be getting closed by mid-July so that you're kind of settled and ready for school. And so that means right now is time. So we definitely saw that this last week with 177 going under contract with only 137 new listings. We did 3 open houses on our team this past weekend and it was packed. There are definitely people who want to buy a new home. Now, if you listed a home or if you've got your home on the market and it's not selling, you're like, well, why isn't that selling? Or maybe you're on Zillow or Redfin or one of those sites and you're seeing homes sitting on the market for a little bit longer and you're like, well, Miranda, I know you're saying that, homes are going under contract so fast. What the heck? Why are there some that are still on the market? Pricing. Pricing is still very important. One thing you have got to remember, and I've talked about this in weeks past, the list price is the starting price for most buyers. When they look at your price, they think they have to go up from there. So that where you listed, they're not thinking that you're going to come down from that. So if you're listed too high, they're not even going to come look at it because they're just assuming that they have to bring you more money than the list price, because we know that on average, homes in our area are selling for 100% of their list price or 100.5% of their list price. So they're going over list price. So if you're listed too high, you're going to sit on the market, you're going to have to do a price reduction and it will cost you money because you will probably end up getting less than had you listed at the appropriate price to begin with and let the market drive it up. Because after you've been listed, your listing is stale and buyers wonder what's wrong with it and why didn't it sell in 2 seconds? And that's what happens in our market. So you've got to be aware of what's happening in our market, what buyer expectations are, and go into the market prepared for buyer expectations and what the current market is doing in our particular area. Now, if I talk to my friends in Florida, oh man, they are in a totally different ballpark. Same with Arizona. So you can't listen to national news in regards to home price reductions or home inventory or things like that. You have to listen to local news. So here in our area, the suburbs of Chicago, we are still seeing very tight inventory, less than a month and a half of inventory. We're seeing prices going up, not going down. We're seeing buyers still getting involved in multiple offer situations and competing offers and all of those things. That is still happening here. So that is our market. You have to price for that. So I'm Miranda Alt. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, please feel free to give me a call. I'm at 815-529-0777. You can call or text me or email me at Miranda@mirandaalting.com. Thanks so much. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. Bye-bye.